Okay, so the first item we're going to look at is Doc Ryder. No, I'm kidding.
You want me on the other side?
That's a tasty dish.
These are the crispy deviled eggs. Crispy deviled eggs contain eggs, mayonnaise, soy, and gluten due to the breadcrumbs. There are going to be 4 halves of deviled eggs on each item order. I do need them to get the cornichons on these. Chef, do you have the cornichons?
Inside.
Oh, you put them in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So cornichon, the pickled sweet chip, there's the Dijon Worcestershire sauce,
W
mayonnaise,
sauce.
and pickled jalapeno too.
So it's a take on a classic deviled egg. They bread the white in standard breading procedure, so flour, more egg, and then it goes into the breadcrumbs. When an order comes in, they're frying the 4 halves of the eggs, then they set them up and pipe the filling into them, okay? So when these come out, the base is gonna be warm, the filling, so it's a hot-cold, right? So warm base, cold filling, and then this is meant to be a shareable, so 4 halves to an order. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Okay. So what?
It's a chicken dumpling with maple oil, sushi glaze, and simply scallion. It's a dumpling is the fries, not the steam. Only thing different from last time is just the steam. Now it's a fry. Before was the pork. Now it's the chicken, and there's a maple oil instead of the bacon soy glaze.
So chef calls it a dumpling, which it is. We call it a pot sticker because that's the specific type of dumpling that it is, right? So that's kind of where, right? Mae poi is a very flavorful sweet chili sauce from Thailand, okay? So sometimes you get sweet chili sauce, it's just like sweet and spicy. This stuff has some depth and some flavor range to it, so it's a little bit different. The sushi sauce, everybody should be familiar with. That's been going over the top of the atomic shrimp for a long time. And then there's 5 pieces to an order. 5 pieces to an order. Did she get the picture? Well, you go ahead and explain that, Sarah can do it.
This is the stuffed mushroom with the sausage. It's Italian sausage. There's a pork, and it mixed with the cheese. And bottom is the marinara sauce, top is the parmesan, and parsley. It's pretty simple. So whoever doesn't eat pork or dairy, they cannot get this.
Okay?
I put on selfie
Oh, you're here. Just gotta do this, turn around.
Oh, hold on.
Okay? So 5 pieces to an order. All right, this is really classic appetizer kind of dish. So this is the lump crab and artichoke dip. Inside the cream cheese, it's very simple. There's Old Bay, cream cheese, artichokes, and lump crab. All right, so this is just a really, really straightforward, good dip. Over the top, there's herbs and panko, so there's some extra crunch. And then one of my favorite things that they make upstairs in the banquet kitchen is the crispy pitas.
Toasted pita chip.
Yep. So this is definitely a big time sharing dish for a table. I mean, this is a 2 or 3 person item. It contains gluten, dairy, shellfish. Look at that, I knew it offhand, okay? All right. So it should come out, it should be really hot and bubbly. That thing is smoking hot. Pita chips are nice and fresh. You got yours? Okay, next up, house-made garlic knots. So we're gonna be trying to have some more stuff come off of our pizza stations, okay? So, anybody ever been to a slice shop where they sell slices of pizza? They also make their pizza dough into little knots, right, that are soaked in garlic butter and cheese. So these are meant to be a family appetizer for people to share. An egregious amount of marinara to pass around the table, and then 3 garlic knots to an order. These have gluten, dairy.
Egg.
I don't believe there's
And the
egg
dough?
in it.
There's no egg?
It's just gluten and dairy. Okay, pizza dough is very simple. Pizza dough is flour, water, yeast, salt, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of olive oil. Okay, marinara, that is vegetables. Okay, so really, really, really straightforward stuff. One of my favorite appetizers when I was a little kid is garlic bread. I don't know if you guys can tell. I like garlic bread. So that's kind of how this came about. Next appetizer that we have up are the salmon sliders. The salmon sliders have the deviled egg filling as a spread. So that is the spread on the sandwich. There's lettuce, pickled red onions, and coleslaw. And it is just nice, thick pieces of seared salmon on those beautiful slider buns that chef has procured. There are 3 to an order.
Chef, would you take a temperature on this?
No,
You can't get a temp, it's too thin.
Excellent.
What's this salmon seasoned with? Just salt and pepper?
yeah,
Is it seared or grilled?
sir.
That's it.
Yeah, if I do grill, the Brian are gonna cry. That's it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be 100%. So the allergens are gluten, dairy, egg, and soy, because of the
Mayonnaise.
mayonnaise has soy oil in the mayonnaise. Okay. Next up is the ancient grain salad. So we're calling this ancient grains because there's 3 grains in each in the salad. There's quinoa, wheat berries, farro. Okay. Quinoa is a complete protein. Everybody, I think, nowadays knows what quinoa
From Peru.
is.
Olina, pero olina.
It's very, very healthy.
Yeah.
Wheat berries are an entire grain of wheat, so they have the hull on the outside. So you're going to notice that they have a pretty crunchy texture to it. And then farro is
Very similar.
is a cousin of wheat. Okay, so this naturally has gluten in it because of the grains, right? 2 of those grains contain gluten. They are the contributing factors to gluten here pretty much in the United States. There's also kale, cucumber, tomatoes, corn, feta, yogurt, green goddess dressing. Okay, so it is a yogurt-based salad dressing. Is that a non-fat dressing? Yogurt?
It's the
Regular
Greek
yogurt. So it's
a
regular
Greek
Greek yogurt. And then
There's a dill, mint, like cilantro, yeah, and lemon juice. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
yogurt, green herbs, lemon juice, salt, and pepper as a dressing. So this is meant to be a very, very healthy option. If somebody gets a seared piece of salmon or grilled chicken breast on this, this is probably the healthiest thing that they can get on the menu. Okay?
So the
And
greens,
this is a half portion.
so greens on that one was kale and spinach. Is that correct?
It is kale,
What did you say?
Spinach.
No spinach.
No spinach, just
baby
greens?
kale.
Baby kale.
Very good.
Okay.
You said the quinoa, farro, what was the other?
Wheat
Wheat
berry.
berries. Wheat berries.
Oh, wheat berries, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's a whole piece of wheat with the hull on it, the germ, everything. Yep. Next salad is the arugula and pear salad. Okay, again, another half portion. There's a couple of very specific talking points on this salad, guys. It contains pecans, cranberries, warm goat cheese, orange supremes, pomegranate vinaigrette. The goat cheese is bruleed, right? You can see the browning on top of it. And then the orange supremes, the whole orange is peeled, peel's taken from it. And then you know how the skins are on orange, right? All of that skin is taken off. So it is just the fruit of the orange, right? So it's just all the little fingery stuff, all the best part of it, okay? So it's really delightful. Make sure you try a little piece of that. It's like, that's the best way to ever eat an orange. Once you eat an orange like that, it's kind of hard to go back.
For a second.
Yeah, when it's peeled like that. Okay, so these are not out of a can. They're not mandarin oranges. The reason they look different is there's no skin, no pith on them.
Sunkist orange?
So what?
Sunkist? Is that what we use?
These are just Florida oranges.
Florida.
Yep.
And you said the cheese was brulee?
They brulee it.
What did brulee? Would they put anything on it or just?
Nope, they just take the torch and they warm it up.
So nothing on it?
Nope.
No salt, nothing?
It's just the cheese.
Just the cheese.
Just the cheese. This is a half portion. A full portion will have 2 pieces of goat cheese. So one of the exciting parts of the new menu is there's a pasta section on the menu now. So there's 4 pastas on the menu. we are not gonna see the beef bolognese because everybody here has had the beef bolognese here. It's been on the menu for quite some time. So what you have in front of you here is the shrimp alla vodka, okay? So there's shrimp, bucatini, and vodka sauce. Vodka sauce is where you basically you render some pork. In this case, it's pancetta. And then you saute the shrimp, you glaze with vodka, get the fond from the pan, red sauce enters the pan, and then cream. So it's a blush sauce. And then a bunch of cheese is put into it and banana peppers. Everybody know what banana peppers are? Banana peppers are these yellow peppers. I would call them more zesty than I would call them spicy. So they got a little bit of a bite to them, but they are about 1/10 of the heat of a jalapeno.
Is that the pepper
That's a
they do
little
in Papa
kick,
John's pizzas?
Yeah,
No, those are peppers.
So is there
same idea.
is that pepperoncini?
Yeah, I was gonna say, those are.
These are banana peppers.
But yeah, it's in the name also for pepperoncini.
They're very similar.
Has a little kick, you say,
They're
right?
very similar.
Chef,
Just a little bit. I would call it zesty, not spicy.
Zesty, yes.
Chef, what's a bucatini?
So the pasta is a separate conversation. Bucatini, this looks like spaghetti, but as you eat it, this is my favorite noodle, as a side note, it is hollow spaghetti. So they look like little tiny straws before they're cooked, and they still look like a straw. So as you pick this pasta up, you'll notice that it has a different texture and it holds more sauce because the sauce goes inside of it. And then when you bite into it, it's gonna have a different feel inside in your teeth, okay? How do we say it? Bucatini. Bucatini. Right?
That's the pasta when it's cooking. If it's hollow inside, that's the
It still stays hollow.
still hollow.
It still stays hollow.
Okay.
So this would be, go ahead.
Is that possible to make it without vodka?
No, the sauce is.
The sauce already has the vodka in it. The alcohol is cooked
Burnt.
off, so you can serve this to kids. You can serve it to, you know, there might be somebody that says that they just can't have alcohol,
Yeah.
then that's fine. But I don't, there's no, if you'll taste it, you won't be able to taste vodka at all. The whole point of the vodka is to burn off the pan and toast all the stuff. So all the alcohol literally sets on fire
I think
and
some
burns off.
religion reason they don't eat. So
Not permitted pork from this dish, correct?
Pork is inside the sauce, dairy is inside the sauce, garlic's inside the sauce. The sauce itself is gluten-free. The gluten comes from the bucatini.
If somebody wants the pasta with just marinated sauce and the shrimp, is it possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because sometimes the pasta is the attraction for me to this dish because it's unusual.
And then any of these, as we go through the pastas, right, we have the pastas and we have the dishes. If anybody wants to say, hey, I want the shrimp alla vodka with the mezze rigatoni, you can message that in, right? So you can switch the pastas around. The chef has paired these pastas with specific sauces, right? So there's like the consistency of the sauce, the chunkiness of the sauce, right? That's why he chose specific pastas for them. But if somebody wants to change it up and they like mezze rigatoni with everything, we can do that too. Okay. All right, we have a smash burger on the menu now. Okay. So this is completely different than our regular burger. Our regular burger, when you look at the menu, the grill burger is what you recognize as the burger that's been served here for ages, right? It's a big thick patty. It's on the big brioche bun. The smash burger, okay, you get it ordered as a single or a double, okay? The burger itself is a 4-ounce burger, so when you order a single, it's smaller. When you order a double, it's the same size as that big grill burger.
Can you go up? Can you just keep adding patties?
Somebody like Matt or myself might get a triple or a quad, right? We'll figure that out, yeah.
That's cool.
So the big difference with this, they take a ball of that ground beef and they press it onto the flat top and they smash it. So the burger itself gets crispy, okay? And then it cooks pretty quick actually too, all right? And the other big difference is that it's on a potato bun. So there's two separate burger buns down here now. So the potato bun is the little smaller, soft, pillowy one that a lot of us like. I like both of them. The potato bun really suits itself to the smash burger. Okay? And you're noticing that we put it in a basket because we're trying to be cute. Alright? So that's the whole reason behind that. The burgers now come with the full load of everything that they say on them. Okay? So this gets tobacco onions, smoked tomato aioli, bacon, and American cheese.
Lettuce. There's a piece of lettuce underneath.
Is
But
it?
it does not have tomato and regular onion and sliced onions.
Yes. Okay? So, very, very different. Yeah, there's no temperature on the smash burger. You cannot order, these are gonna be cooked all the way through. So no temp button, no anything. If they want a medium rare cheeseburger, a medium burger, they have to get a grill burger. Like it's, and that's not trying to be difficult. It's just impossible for us to smash the patty real thin on the grill and get a temperature to it. Okay?
Chef, can you review what's in a tobacco onion?
Tobacco onions, okay? It is not a Tabasco like the sauce onion. It is a tobacco onion. It refers to the cut of the onion, okay? When somebody's making a cigar, they cut the tobacco very, very thin. These onions are cut very, very thin. They're the thin, crispy onions that are heavily seasoned and add a lot of texture. So it's not like a full onion ring where there's the big piece of onion in it. It is crispy flour with some like dried out onion in the inside in a great way, right? They're magical, okay? They make food that much better.
This will come with
That
ketchup
was-
as default in a little ramekin.
Yep, it'll have a ramekin of ketchup with it. Ask more questions.
The bun.
Potato,
Well,
Just a potato bun.
the bun looks,
Is it always going to look like that?
doesn't look appetizing.
Yeah.
The bun
So-
looks squishy and.
so you'll notice it's pressed on the griddle and it's butter toasted.
That's why it looks, that's why.
Okay?
Amazing.
So it might not be the prettiest bun, but this would be the burger that I would order. I would get a double.
delicious.
Triple.
Yeah.
Push this to kids too.
This is a great kids burger too.
Perfect for
But
kids.
they don't want bacon, they don't want tobacco onions. You have to say no bacon, no
You
tobacco
have a
onions.
prep menu that has those options already, so it made it easy for you where everything that is on it, you can say, I want no lettuce, no bacon, no tobacco onions, all of that is listed already for you. So,
Next, we're going back to pasta. This is the roasted vegetable tagliatelle. Can everybody say tagliatelle with me? Tagliatelle, great.
Chef, what's tagliatelle?
Tagliatelle is a thick fettuccine-like noodle that contains egg. Don't call me chef anymore, I get confused.
Take this one.
I've not heard that name in ages, right?
Take like a little.
Yes. So the sauce is actually pureed eggplant. Okay, wrap your head around that. So this is a very, very healthy dish. They basically make baba ganoush. They char up an eggplant. Guys, can we keep the sound down, please? They char up an eggplant. They put it in a food processor with tahini, lemon juice, olive oil, and puree it. Okay? When somebody orders this, they saute all the vegetables, which are roasted peppers, cauliflower, shiitake mushrooms. They drop the eggplant puree in the pan, warm it up, and then they put the pasta in and finish it and garnish it with pine nuts and cheese. Okay? As somebody that likes meat and likes to eat meat a lot, if I had this dish, I do not feel like I'm missing out at all. Okay? So pretty healthy pasta dish, a lot of starch to it, but it's very flavorful, very fulfilling, lots of texture. The mushrooms give it that umami people are looking for. It can be made vegan by removing the cheese and going to a dry noodle. That's not tagliatelle. Okay?
you can take the pine nuts off.
Pine nuts, cheese can come off. Any of the sauteed vegetables can come out. We cannot, the eggplant is the sauce. You can't really have the dish without the eggplant. It would be like, it would just be sauteed vegetables and dry noodles.
So which one is the sauce you said?
The eggplant is the
Oh,
sauce.
the eggplant is sauce.
Yes.
All right, I think somebody cut it for you.
Filming? All right, we're ready for the next one. This is the house-made grilled eggplant rolettes. Okay, that's under the entree section. So they take eggplant, they slice eggplant on the deli slicer so it's nice and thin. It's seasoned with olive oil and salt and pepper and grilled, so it's cooked. It's then chilled, and then it's stuffed with a ricotta and Asiago stuffing. There's also spinach, zucchini, and carrots inside of it. So then they take that while it's cold, they put mozzarella over it, which is fresh mozzarella. They put marinara, and then it's baked to heat it up. So this is another vegetarian entree that we have. It's also gluten friendly. Okay? There's no way to make this dairy free and still have the same entree. One, they're already going to be stuffed behind the line, and then two, it would just be eggplant, like grilled eggplant with marinara on it. Okay, so not a whole lot of modifications to make there. But for a gluten-free vegetarian dish, this is a pretty interesting and fun set.
Well, not really gluten-free though, are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Gluten-friendly. Gluten-friendly. So Heisen brings up a great point. On the menu, it says gluten-friendly, and I think this is a good juncture for us to review that. There is gluten everywhere in a professional kitchen. This eggplant is going to be baked in a pizza oven, okay? What goes in the pizza oven?
Pizza.
Pizza, yeah, right. So that pizza, there's flour throughout that oven, right? This is going to be in a separate vessel, but it's never going to be 100% gluten-free. Some flour is going to get in the air, it'll drop onto it, right? There is no gluten introduced specifically into this dish. Okay, so that's why we call it gluten-friendly. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on that?
That means when we order that, it's gonna come from here or we're gonna?
Yep, they're gonna bake it out here.
Okay.
This bay is hot.
Okay.
So right here we have the halibut. All right, I think everybody knows the kind of pride and that chef puts into the fish that he serves here. Everything's cut in house. Everything's very, very fresh. So they had a version of this as a special last week with chickpeas. This one's a little bit different. So this is wild halibut. It's line caught. It's sauteed with chorizo, escarole, carrots, tomatoes, cannelli beans, and there's gremolata. Okay, so let's go line by line on this. Chorizo is a Spanish sausage. It's full of paprika and garlic and flavor. Escarole, it looks like romaine, but it is a braising green. You either have to saute it or braise it. It is too tough or chewy to eat raw. So very, very similar to romaine in look. But if you made a Caesar with it, it would be inedible. The escarole, they're the greens that are sauteed in the beans.
Racing green like romaine, right?
More like kale.
Kale.
More like kale. The carrots, tomatoes, we know what those are. Cannelli beans are these white beans. They're also referred to as Great Northern beans.
Cherry tomatoes.
And then gremolata is herbs, garlic, citrus, salt, pepper pureed. So that's the finishing sauce that's over the top. The halibut itself is prepared as a seared preparation.
Once again, like last week, no removing the chorizo from the beans. They're already prepped.
It's all mixed in, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. But it's not to say that this fish, we'll get into the bottom of the menu after we taste everything, how, you know, the Butcher Block became the steakhouse favorites and the fishmonger stayed the same. And I drove Sarah insane reworking the menu.
So did I. It's okay.
So, okay. So she's gonna pass, Sarah's gonna take a picture of this one. And I lied. Chef has reworked his bolognese recipe and he wanted you all to try it. Okay? So you'll notice that this bolognese is there's a lot more sauce. Quote unquote, it's wetter on the plate in a very, very good way.
That's the Italian line. This was the...
Similar, right? This bolognese has more tomato and there's a lot more butter in the sauce. So when you taste this, this is the kind of This is the kind of pasta dish where you're gonna need to bring them extra rolls because they're gonna be dipping the bread in this sauce, eating it over and over and over again. Okay? So the bolognese is made with beef. They braise beef. There's onions, carrots, fennel, tomatoes, Parmesan cheese, and there is plenty of butter inside of it as well. We don't list that, but you'll know that when you taste it.
What's a mezze rigatoni?
Great question. So everybody thinks a rigatoni is like this noodle but longer. All right, mezzes are short and they have all these little ridges on it. So when I talked about how each pasta has or each sauce has a pasta that they kind of pair up the best, this is a really hearty sauce, right? So that you got a big hole in the noodle, so the sauce can go inside of it. It can pick up a lot of it, and then those ridges on the outside are meant to carry even more sauce. It's more surface area for the sauce to grab onto. But great question. Now, could you mix the mezze rigatoni with the tagliatelle set, right? Take the tagliatelle out and put the rigatoni in? Sure, right? That's an easy fix for the staff to do, and then that would be the halfway to a vegan dish. Okay. What other questions do we have on this one? I tasted a little bit of the sauce. It's like really good.
It's only beef in that.
So this is going to be, I think, a very, very popular dish. Okay. So chef surprised me. We were talking about it. I didn't realize he was going to do it today. He's got house-made chicken tenders on top of this dish. Okay. And then those will end up parlaying into just an appetizer on their own once we get our legs under us. But this is a champagne chicken linguine. Okay, so the sauce is a champagne cream sauce. There are mushrooms and artichokes inside of it. There's also Dijon mustard for flavor. And I believe there's shallots, so there's a little bit of an onion component.
Can the vegetables be removed?
Yes. The linguine is what everybody recognizes as linguine, right? And then the house-made chicken tenders, that's a chicken tender, right? That's actually a part. It's if you guys ever have taken apart a chicken, it's the small oval piece shape underneath the breast, okay?
Is it buttermilk chicken?
So they're soaking that in pickle juice. Hang on. Pickle juice, buttermilk, and yogurt overnight, and then it's double floured and then fried. Okay, so it's big, it's crispy. You got a really creamy sauce. You got nice crispy chicken. You got a bunch of different textures going on. Really rich dish. I think this is going to be a home run with the members.
And someone can order it without the chicken?
They can order it with salmon. They can order it with right. We cannot make a salmon tender.
So
I mean, it sounds foolish, but like somebody's gonna be like, I want the salmon the same way. It'll never be the same because we don't soak the salmon in the marinade. We don't season it that way. We don't, right? So you can't, it's either, but we could do just plain grilled chicken, right? So we can go back, but we can't kind of, do those other ways. I know H really likes to, and I do too, right? We make every concession that we can. It just won't have the same flavor because it didn't sit overnight in the marinade. If they want us to fry it, though, we certainly will. We'll do our best.
So
I thought it was already fried, no?
if you want to.
It's so like a salmon, a piece of
okay.
salmon, the same prep, right? It's just, it takes a day to get that chicken to where it needs to be.
Marinated with what? Would you say it again? You said we have to marinate it overnight?
It's marinated overnight.
What you use to marinate it?
Pickle juice,
Good question.
pickle juice, buttermilk,
Okay.
and plain yogurt. Any questions before we try it? Okay. Coming on over.
Because swordfish normally you catch with the fishing pole. That's why. Because it's a one line means.
What did I say, Leo? They're talking about buns. I don't understand.
This
Yeah.
surface needs to be cooked, right?
I mean,
Not medium rare or what?
personally, I don't eat cooked fish. If I eat swordfish, I don't eat the fish also. I eat medium. They normally should become a medium unless they ask the rare or well done.
The chef recommends medium for the swordfish.
Because it's the, you know, swordfish is they big and they have a lot of, I don't know what they're gonna say, but I
Don't say it.
I don't want to eat the raw for the sword, but well done, the meat is like grainy and same as, normally you know what I say pork, when a pork well done I say meat is grainy in your mouth instead of softer, right? Swordfish is more close to the meat, the texture wise. So if they well done, it's
too
not
dry.
really,
It's too dry.
yeah, dry. I thought you guys did all well done there.
Excuse me, Chef, for this new menu, we never asked for the surface temperature to be cooked, but in this case, we had to ask. Is that what you're saying?
You can, with what you say, great, you're having the swordfish tonight, the chef is gonna prepare that medium.
That's my question.
And bottom is the risotto, and then between there's a butternut squash and Brussels sprout. Brussels sprout is not quarter, it's the shape, and we quick saute. To me, I like Brussels sprout, but I like the shape one better because somehow when I eat the quarter one and shaped one, it tastes different. It's less bitter than quarter. I guess maybe because it's thinner, that's why. But it's yeah, that's true too. And
So it's,
hold on, I forgot one thing.
So the Brussels sprouts are thinly sliced?
they're
and then-
shaved, they're shaved.
Okay.
So like think of over a mandolin.
Yeah. And then pan fried?
Yes, they're sauteed with the very small diced butternut squash.
Can we do it not blackened?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it could
What's a cello radish?
that's what he's going to get right now. So it's just a very pretty radish.
Sorry, I forgot the pickle.
Hi.
I was very.
So that's your answer right there.
Oh, that was.
So it gives a little bit more color also and give more acid on the dish.
Okay, so blackened swordfish, sauteed Brussels sprouts and butternut squash, pickled cello radish, risotto. What's in the risotto, chef?
That's the straight the onion wine.
Onion wine.
And
What
then
kind of stock is used?
Water.
Water. So this is a simple risotto. Okay, this is not a heavy risotto. Doesn't make it bad.
And butter and mascarpone.
So
Vegetable?
And butter.
there's butter, cheese, right? Chef loves butter and cheese. I love butter and cheese.
I mean, to me, if I cook fish or pasta, if it's dairy allergy, you have to put dairy allergy because I put almost everything in butter. I believe butter and bacon make everything taste best,
Yes.
better.
He's a buttery kind of guy, this guy.
And if I make the pasta, the bolognese, I don't know if you guys taste it or not, there's a lot of butter too.
They love the bolognese, chef.
Because I like pasta not dry. And butter actually give really more richness on the pasta too.
My only question is, how does he stay so skinny?
I'm not skinny, I'm 200 pounds.
So, the two sections of the menu, steakhouse favorites and mongers, right? Very similar to Butcher Block, right? Sarah did a great job of kind of reformatting and revamping the look and feel to them, okay? The biggest change for us is now we offer Sterling Premium Steaks. So that is a very upgraded level and grade of steaks compared to what the grill had served in the past. We offer a 6-ounce filet, an 8-ounce filet, a 12-ounce ribeye, and a 12-ounce New York strip. Okay, all of those are cooked to temperature. All the modifiers are inside of there. All the sides remain the same, and then all the steak sauces, I believe, remain the same as well. Can everybody say au poivre with me? Au poivre. That is with pepper, right? With pepper. So that is a demi-glace-based sauce that has pepper in it, cream, brandy, and Dijon mustard. Okay, very classic steakhouse sauce. Horseradish cream, mayonnaise, sour cream, lemon juice, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, and pickled horseradish. House steak sauce, it's our own version of an A1. Okay, so the biggest change for us is the level of steak. The quality of steak has been upgraded. Okay, so they eat better, they're more consistent, they're tenderer. We cut all those in-house. So let's talk about the different cuts of steak. What is our most tender cut of steak that's on the menu? Filet mignon. What is the difference between the 6 and the 8 ounce?
One of them is bigger and one is smaller.
There we go. One is bigger, one is smaller, right? So they cut them off of the same size, or the same loins. Some of the smaller ones go to 6s, some of the bigger ones go to 8s, okay? So that's a very lean steak. That's for somebody that really wants a tender steak that's not greasy, there's no grizzle on it. It is 100% meat, okay? We are now cooking these steaks in our broiler. So they might not have the prettiest grill marks on them, the perfect crosshatch, but boy are they gonna taste better, okay? So sorry, I got sidetracked. We'll talk about that shortly in a second. Next on the scale of steak, I would call it, is our New York strip. The strip is kind of our middle steak. It has a meaty texture. It's heavily marbled, right? So that's all those little white dots of fat through it. That's what makes it tender and flavorful. But there's not a whole ton of fat all over the steak, right? So it's got a different texture. It's not quite as tender. It's definitely more steaky than a filet, but not in a bad way. It's still very, very tender, very chewable, okay? Personally, my favorite steak is a strip steak. Sometimes it's a ribeye. Depends on my mood. Next on the list is the ribeyes. Ribeyes are by far the fattiest and most heavily marbled steak on our menu. Ribeyes are when we roast a prime rib, right? That big hunk of meat. Prime rib is the whole subprimal roasted, then sliced after it's cooked. The ribeyes, take it when it's raw and you cut a steak off of it, okay? And then it's cooked in the broiler. So there's the two muscles to it, right? There's the top cap, which is probably the best thing in the whole animal, and then there's the eye of the ribeye. Super flavorful, super heavy, right? Like these are the guys. This is Greg Trimmer drinking a beer, right? Hanging out with his friends. Like he wants a big, heavy, greasy steak, right? Like he'll be happy and proud to tell you that. Okay. Same for me. I think Lopes would probably be the same way. So now I'll get back to talking about the steaks. Previously, our steaks were cooked on the char grill. Char grill comes heat up from the bottom, right? Just what everybody thinks of as a grill. Now we're cooking them in the broiler. Heat comes down from the top, okay? So it's radiant heating that comes down off the flame and then really browns evenly and consistently the outside of the steak. It's probably 200 or 300 degrees hotter than the char grill is. So you're getting much more intense flavor, much more even flavor on it. You got a question?
Do you know, are we doing that upstairs too?
Upstairs, we do not have a broiler. Upstairs, they're searing the steaks. They're not going off a char grill for the most part. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay? So, to me, the best steakhouses in the United States of America all cook their steaks in the same kind of broiler we have back there that we haven't been using for a while. So now, Brian's going to be taking those steaks and putting them in there.
Does that make it easier to get to the temperature that the member would want? Because like a lot of the times we have like problems.
So it's a little bit of an adjustment, right? You know, those are more training things that we will continue to work on, but it's a great question.
So we may be experiencing some issues with that?
So the guidance is they're going to probably try to cook them a little less, right? Because they carry up more, right? If you're cooking on a char grill, you want a medium rare steak, you take it off when it's medium rare plus. When you're cooking in a broiler, you want a medium rare steak, you take it off when it's rare. It's hotter on the outside, meaning it's got more energy, needs to work its way into the middle of the steak. Okay? So those are things that we're working on. We'll hopefully get there. I'm sure we will. But the end result is you're going to have a really tasty, like you got a better cut of steak and it's being cooked in a way better method, right? Like really great stuff.
So, let's get that for all cooked broil or
all of them.
Flavor very tender.
Yep.
Do us temperature or not?
All steaks you're asking for temperature. Nothing has changed there, right? And then Bell's got it programmed so behind each of the steaks, right? You build the set, right? On the steakhouse favorite. So It's gonna be you pick the side, you pick the sauce, you pick the vegetable, just as it had been on the butcher block.
Under the sauce I was talking with Carmen, Béarnaise sauce, I don't see that here.
Béarnaise sauce is not on here, but they can make it if it's requested.
Got it, yeah.
Yep.
Just to make sure.
All right, fishmonger. Same thing that we have done in the past, right? They're gonna tell you, I want it seared, I want it baked, I want it, yep, blackened. The 12 different preparations that we're able
Your
to
Mr.
do.
Pace broiled.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Pick your sauce, pick your side, pick your vegetable. All right. So you'll notice all the fish that are in our entree section are available for monger. So if we have the fish, then we, right? So it gives a lot of customization to it.
We also have a new sauce. So the chive mustard is new.
Yes, the mustard cream sauce is new.
Sorry, mustard cream sauce, that's what I meant.
So that is the sauce from the crab cake.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
Which kind of fish is gray sole? We never have before.
We're
Okay.
that one's we're waiting on.
So we're gonna try the gray sole here in a second. So we can talk about the gray sole right now. So gray sole. So most people have heard of like Dover sole, right? This is not Dover sole. Okay, it's the same type of fish. Okay, so it's a flat fish. You get 4 fillets off of each side. They're born, they're fries, they swim like this. They get older, their eyes migrate to one side of their head, and then they start swimming like this. They're dark on top, so predators can't see them looking down, and they're white on the bottom, so predators can't see them from below, right? So it looks like they're looking into the sun. So these are very, very tender fish. Gray sole. Think of flounder. Think of yeah. If somebody likes cod, they like haddock, they like pollock, they like a lightly flavored, tender, flaky fish. Gray sole is right up their alley. It's really, really good stuff. Okay, no skin on it, no bone. Atlantic cod, we'll talk about that when that comes out. The halibut, that's that really, so halibut and gray sole are the same type of fish, they're flat fish. Halibut are this big when they come out of the water. They can be 150 pounds, they're bigger than Julio, right?
Thank you very much.
Yep, much bigger than Julio. Gray sole, when they come out of the water, they're the size of a Frisbee, pretty much. Okay, so different kind of stuff. The reason it's called Norwegian salmon, it's raised in Norway. Norway is really known for outstanding quality of Atlantic salmon. It is farm raised. For many years, farm raised salmon had a terrible reputation. That has, over the past 15 years, really gone over. There's still not great stuff that comes from South America, but the stuff that comes from either Nova Scotia or Norway is really high-end stuff. It's raised all in open water pens, right? And it's fed natural feed. They don't feed it color. So these are pretty much wild fish that swim in the ocean in fresh open water their entire life. And then they just keep predators away by keeping them in a giant pen in the middle of the ocean, right? So they have a pretty easy life until somebody that looks like me shows up, okay? So really high fat content, really delicious. This is the same salmon chef's been serving here since I've worked here, and I think it's really great stuff. I personally care for the salmon medium rare here. And then we talked about the line caught swordfish. Okay. Before we get into the last 2 entrees, let's talk about burgers. Okay, so the grill burger now has, we're calling it a ground steak burger. Okay, so we did a couple of different tastings, both with the board and house committee, and this was predominantly the choice of those 2 parts of our governing bodies of the club. Okay, there will probably be some point where we put this up for the membership, but the ground steak burger is a custom blend, right, of steak trim, basically. So when they're, in a big cutting facility, right, you cut a bunch of steaks, there's the end of like the strip or the ribeye or the sirloin left over. Those then get ground into burger, right? So it's a very high-end burger. Okay? And then it's the same blend that's going into the smash burger. Does anybody have any questions on that?
This is not the one with the brisket in it.
The percentages fluctuate, so that's why we didn't call it.
So the smash burger is the same makeup,
It's
just
the
in
same,
sauce.
yeah. They're just busting up a burger and rolling it into a ball and then
Yeah.
smashing it on the
No, I got
grill.
that. That makes sense.
But there is a little bit of brisket in it, right?
There is, yes.
Okay. I think that's the selling thing.
Okay, so this is the Gray Sole Meuniere. Sole Meuniere, it is floured, dredged in egg, and then pan fried. It's over roasted potatoes, asparagus, and it has a lemon caper cream sauce with it.
How many pieces? 3?
There's 3. That'll fluctuate depending on the size of the fish that shows up though. If they get some bigger fish, it might be 2. So this is roughly 8 to 9 ounces of fish, which is a good portion of fish.
And this is a very delicate fish, so if they do decide to use this as a monger, we would recommend not putting it on the grill.
They can't grill this. It'll just fall apart and fall into the grill.
It will ruin it.
Yeah, it'll just, on my best day, I could not get this to come off a char grill.
It's like the flounder.
Flounder, you either have to saute it or it's got to be cooked in a pan, something like that. So I think most of us who have worked here for a little bit have seen some iteration of this. This is a fan favorite. This will rotate on and off of this menu for forever, right? There's a reason classic food exists, because it's great. Doesn't mean, just because it's an old recipe doesn't mean that it's no good. A lot of this stuff is just takes on old stuff, and I think this is a really good example of that.
And in that extent, we no longer have a trout almondine on our menu, so this is a very similar preparation, aside from the almonds, but it's a similar classic style fish dish that members will probably love, especially when we run it as a special recently.
Yep. Just the biggest difference is that the sole is very delicate, lightly flavored fish, right? So this is a perfect fish for, I love when people say that they don't like fish, and then they try this stuff, and they're like, oh wow, that's delicious, right? So, all right.
Can you review how to pronounce this, please?
Meuniere. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, stick with me. 3 more minutes. Buttercrumb baked cod. Cod is a cod, haddock, pollock, that family of fish, okay? Where Kyle and I are from, these are really, really popular dishes, right?
Now you're in the mix.
This is a very, very simple preparation. It is a piece of cod that has white wine, butter, lemon on it, buttered saltines put over the top, and it's put in the oven and baked. Okay. So the fillets that are going to come out tonight are going to look a little bit different, but very, very simple preparation. Whipped potatoes, carrots, broccoli, and then the sauce around it is a lemon beurre blanc. Okay. So if my mother was to come to dinner here, I'd say, Ma, you probably just want to order this, right? This is like one of my mother's favorite dishes on plate.
What's a beurre blanc?
A beurre blanc is
French.
So how a beurre blanc is made, you take aromatics like shallots, thyme, parsley, peppercorns, you put them in dry white wine, typically, reduce it till it goes almost dried out.
What we make, we not put parsley, we put thyme, bay leaf, garlic, shallot, white wine, black peppercorn. You reduce down, melting it a little bit. You put heavy cream to keep it.
Stabilize the sauce.
And then the melting the butter. And finish with a little bit lime juice.
So it's probably 80% butter, right? With some acid and some aromatics inside of it to flavor it. So it's just a really great way to just get more butter into your food.
Like I
Chef
say, butter and bacon make everything taste better.